We are not in Florida going to allow any media-driven hysteria to do anything to infringe people's individual freedoms when it comes to any type of COVID variants. And when I saw Fauci on TV yesterday saying that he couldn't rule out lockdowns, and then even today President Biden didn't rule it out, I said, no, not now, for now. And let me just say, in Florida, we will not let them lock you down. We will not let them take your jobs. We will not let them harm your businesses. We will not let them close your schools. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The lockdowns didn't stop COVID. Forced masking, they said last year, would end the pandemic if 80% wore masks. Many more than that were wearing masks, and it hasn't worked. They said you could get COVID off surfaces, which isn't true. They've not been honest about the origins of the virus, and they haven't been forthright about natural immunity. And with these travel restrictions, I was probably the first governor in January of 2020 to call for travel restrictions from China. I supported President Trump when he did that. But we have to take a step back and acknowledge that those travel restrictions just didn't work. The virus had already spread, and so whatever this variant is, the fact that you identify some in southern Africa, that does not mean that it's not in any corner of the globe. It's an airborne respiratory virus. So I think those restrictions are not going to work. They haven't worked in the past, and as you know, that's the federal government can control that. I've been arguing to allow more flights in from South America and all these other places. We had most of that shut off for a long, long time. I think it's ineffective. I don't think it works. You can't cripple your society for fear of a variant where we don't even have any really meaningful data on. The South African doctor that identified it, she said this has been very mild. And so why would you be doing knee-jerk reactions? And I think we also just have to be honest, and I've been saying this for a long time, and Fauci even admitted this. This is the first time I've ever heard him admit this. He admitted this yesterday, that COVID will not go away, that it will end up being an endemic respiratory virus. They had been committed to a, quote, zero COVID policy that thought you could eradicate it. It has animal reservoirs. You're not going to eradicate. It's going to end up being an endemic respiratory virus. So that's just the reality. And so it's already spread. It has a seasonal pattern. Remember when I said over the summer, we have seasonal waves in the South. A lot of the corporate press, oh my gosh. Now that it's taking off in the North, they don't have governors that they want to blame for it, and so now they're saying it's seasonal. But that's obvious that that's the case. If you look, when states in the same region go up and down at the same time, that's obviously the pattern that's happening. So doing any type of lockdown or restrictions is absolutely not the right thing to do. And again, I supported the China thing in January, the approach we're going to continue on.
You have concerns with the reports of this coming out and then what's being said at the national level about this impacting tourism numbers here?
Well, here's what I would say. It's a good question. How does that impact tourism? If you look August up compared to pre-COVID August of 2019, hotel revenue up 12%, domestic flights up. And so I think what that shows is that Americans generally, particularly Floridians, but Americans, they want to be able to make decisions for themselves. You had it was actually a great game, Ohio State, Michigan. Michigan is the epicenter of COVID. Go crazy. I didn't really hear much criticism of it, and quite frankly, I didn't criticize it because I think those are folks that make the decision that they want to go out and they want to be able to live their lives, and I think that's what we should want people to do. So I'm very bullish on the tourism here because I think for two reasons. One is people want to be able to make their own decisions. I think that they are done being told what to do. But I think also the fact that Florida has worked so hard to protect people's decision-making and freedom, if people have decisions about where they want to visit, they know you can come to Florida, you can get off that plane, You can go get a bite to eat, and guess what? They ain't going to force you to cough up your medical papers. You can do anything. You can make the choices you want to make. And I think that's very appealing for people. And clearly, the places that have done vaccine passports, mandates, all this stuff, many of those places are having escalating COVID cases. And we've obviously been declining. I mean, our hospitalizations peaked the third week of August. And we're still going down on that. I thought it would have leveled out by now, and maybe it is leveling out now. I never thought we'd get, at a state of 22.5 million people, to get below 1,000 COVID-positive patients, and not all of them are even being treated for COVID. That's anyone that's COVID-positive going into hospitals. I didn't think we'd ever get below 1,000. We are. Maybe it'll keep going down. I hope so. But we assume that there'll be a bottom out, and then at winter you typically have more. I don't think it'll be summer level, but I think you'll see that. But people are going to be able to make their decisions, and that is what we've got to keep. And I just think that to even be entertaining some of these draconian things, we're not going to stand for it. But it's a huge, huge mistake to go down that road.
You take away from the men and women who are here, because you guys all deserve the credit in this pay raise. But since you are here, sir, you want to talk about Dr. Steele and Sophia, that are all right down.
So here's the thing. It was wrong to force that mask on her. She's got Down syndrome. People are making a big deal, say the police didn't think they should bring criminal charges. I never said anything about criminal charges. She was not treated right. That school district was not following state policy. That's just a fact. And now we're happily in a better place where people's rights are respected, where parents' rights are being respected. And I think that that's just a much better situation for all involved. But I don't get hung up on some of these policies, whether someone should be prosecuted or not, because I don't know all the individual facts. I just know it was wrong to do what they did to a girl who clearly had every reason to not have that happen to her.